Hey there, welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show. This is a show that's dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So this is my Sunday night show called Ben's Album Challenge, which takes place every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. One of my friends, Ben, who's also a subscriber to the show, he sends me a link for an album that he wishes me to review, and that's what I do here. I review it and just give you my opinion about the album. Pretty much that's all it is. The link he sent me from, first of all, the album is called the band is called Winterhawk. The album is called Revival. I believe it was released in 1981, and the link he sent me was from Divine Victim. So if you punch in Divine Victim YouTube site, you'll get this link and be able to hear this album. Okay, it's 7 tracks on the album, all pretty rockin'. This is a pretty rockin' album. I would say, if you were going to qualify it, you would probably say it's a hard rock with some heavy metal elements. There's a little bit of, one particular track has a little bit of what I would call rockabilly or boogie. Some rockabilly boogie and a little bit of blues to it. And another one of the tracks, there's some bluesy elements to some of their music. So how best to describe this band? Well, they fit right in with the category that they're in, the hard rock. They're a trio, and they sound, I don't think they sound like Triumph, but they have a certain amount of similarities to Triumph. They're a 3-man band. The guitar player is rockin'. He's off the charts. The vocalist has that really high range like Rick Emmett has. His is a little bit more raw than Rick Emmett's, but basically they're in the same range. They have both got decently good drummers, and the bass is prominent, right? And the music is in your face kind of thing, but it also has some bluesy elements to it, like I said. And I think it really falls into that kind of range that Triumph played in, although I don't think they sound anything like Triumph, really. Just they have a lot of similarities to the band. Actually have some of the earlier songs on the album have that kind of Styxy feel to it, at least the stuff that was early on, stuff that I would think of from Equinox. Yeah, so really good. So, I mean, definitely a band that falls well within that rockin' range. Really good album here. So we have, basically I said, 7 tracks. I didn't give less than a 7 to any of the tracks. In fact, all but one was a 7 except for the song that Ben likes me to choose one particular song as my favorite, and I chose Period of Change, which is the 3rd track. I gave it an 8. Okay, so a little bit about the songs. So we got, the first song is just called an intro song. So it opens with a really heavy, like a bit of a drum roll opening, followed by some heavy guitar riffing. Then you get a lot of, all 3 instruments are really frontal on this particular song. It's a hard rock song, no doubt about it. Guitar is strong and heavy throughout the whole track, and it ends with this kind of scorching guitar solo. So, and I don't think of it as a tapping guitar solo or a shredding guitar solo, if you want to call it that. It's just a really solid, like 70s style guitar solo. So a lot of their stuff is very 70ish sounding. And perhaps if they'd released it in the 70s, they would have done a lot better. Album is a little bit late. Like by the time this album was released in the 80s, 81, it was starting to get, the music had started to move away from this style a bit. So they may have been a little bit late on the draw, but nevertheless was great. The second song is Sanctuary. I like this track a lot too. Opened with a heavy riff, and the vocals are stratospheric here. He's just, I don't know how people can reach those stratospherically high-end vocals. I don't get it. His guitar bits and fills are all really dominant on this song. There's a little bit of progginess to this particular track too. which is, has that kind of similar style. This is where I get the style for Styx and Triumph here. That's kind of that proggy element that they have in their music. It's not progressive rock, but it has that element that pushes them a little bit in that direction. The guitar solo is just really good, very good and tastefully done and strong. Yeah, excellent song. The next song is my favorite, Period of Change. Starts out with a kind of a wind synthesizer bit to open, and then an acoustic guitar bit, and the bass joins in at some point, and then the vocal range just goes from low to high, and then both. Some real catchy riffs here and a melody. I like the melody and the riffs the best of all the tracks on the album. The solo was really good. And the song kind of has a lot of similarity to some elements you might find on Triumph's Progressions of Power, which is an album released pretty much at the same time period. So they're well within their norm here. So really, really great track. Can't See the Forest for the Trees is the next track. It's the bluesy kind of really rockabilly and even some funky kind of guitar bits in here as well. So the vocals are well done for them on this track, like really upbeat, with some really rockin' guitar solos here. Like, just the guitarist, he's not afraid to take risks and try things, and I like that about him. The next track is Revival, the title track of the album. Really bluesy. Guitar is like riffing the whole time, and it's picking up the opening feeling of the whole song. The vocals are more domestic here, so they're not as high end, but there is some high end parts in here, but they're a little bit more realistic. There's a real Deep Purple bit in the vocal part here. They do that kind of vocal bit that I've heard on one of my live Deep Purple albums. It's almost verbatim the way they do it. It's so good. Fading away in the middle of starts to fade away and get a little bit more mellow and towards the center of the song, and then goes off the charts again with a grand guitar solo to kind of end the song. Fantastic. The next track, Ace in the Hole, heavy guitar riff, opens it, and then you got this bass and drums jumping right in. This is a real heavy crunching song. Vocals more rockin', not too high, but with some twin vocals here. So there's a couple guys singing here. The guy with the really high voice is kind of backgroundish here, with the other guy more in the front here. What else to say about this song? It's a hard rockin' song. There are some bass bits that are really good here, like just a brief bass interlude. Nice job on that as well. This is one of the harder songs. There's a couple songs on here bordering that line between hard rock and heavy metal, and this, I think, is one of them. And then the last track, Free to Live. Drums and guitar open. Feels like a western. Feels like you're in a western. That's what it feels like. But the song gets more subdued for a part of the song, and then the guitar solo, which is very heavy, and it's over the top and goes on for a lengthy bit of time, really brings the song up, in my opinion. And then there's just that crunching climactic ending that you get in so many really hard rock songs. This one ends in that fashion. It's an ending I've heard many times on different albums, but they do it well. So very strong album. Group is good, tight, hard rockin' band. Like I said, with some blues and some rockabilly and some kind of funky elements in their music, as well as a couple of tracks with some edging towards a progressive sound. So A solid album. You know, I really enjoyed it. I listened to it for the first time a couple days ago, and then twice today, and each time I heard more and liked it better. So give it a strong finish here. So Ben would be proud to pick this nice album for our display, and I hope you all get a chance to hear it. I think you'll enjoy it. If you like that kind of Triumph sound, or the mid 70s stick sound, or even a little bit of, you know, there's some Iron Maiden. They're almost bordering on Iron Maiden a couple times I hear with the guitar, especially with the guitars, and then the vocals are quite high, so you get a little bit of that as well. Yeah, so there's a lot of that in here. Like they cross a lot of spots where they have some similarities to different groups, but I never once think of them as being just carbon copies. Their sound is unique. It's just they employ some of these bits that are commonplace in this type of music. But if you like those bits and you like that commonplaceness and this kind of music, you will like these guys. I'm sure of it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And we'll be back next week with another of Ben's album challenge. Take care. Good night.